Welcome back to our Love Where You Live series. Today we're going to talk about the rise, and we're starting now. So we're here today with Laura Reners from Vernon Salt Fowler. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. So Laura lives at the Rise. So she's going to tell us some of the amazing things that she loves about the Rise. But before we do that, Laura, how long have you been in real estate?
I have been in real estate for almost 5.5 years now.
Nice. Now, you haven't always lived in the Okanagan. I believe you're from Alberta.
Yep, an Alberta girl. So I moved out here when my husband was transferred here with work. And so I didn't have any prior history with the Okanagan, so it was relatively new to me.
Now, you came from Pincher Creek, so small town. How many people in Pincher Creek versus Vernon? How many people there?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Pincher Creek, which is about 4,000, and oddly enough hasn't really grown a lot in the last couple of years, but we moved from Calgary. So kind of more big city, and then obviously coming out to the Okanagan to Lake Country originally, and then more recently into Vernon here.
Right. So now, why did you make the move? Well, we talked about why you came from Calgary, but why did you come from Lake Country to Vernon?
I just found the more and more real estate I was doing in Vernon, it just made more sense for me. It is a beautiful drive from Lake Country into Vernon, but just with the appointments that I had booked, it was just a lot easier for me to be closer into town than to do that 25-minute commute every day, a couple times a day, as it turned out.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys had a great house in Lake Country as well. Now, how do you think Lake Country compares to where you're at now? Like, you like it better?
You know what? I get asked this question a lot, and it really just came down to that drive. Lake Country is perfect. It's right in the middle between Kelowna and Vernon. So, if you want to go in either direction, it's really close. It's close to the airport. However, for me, it was really just that drive in the winter. I think there's some thoughts that there's not a lot of snow here, but of course we have ski hills and we get a winter just like other places. And so during the winter, that drive can be a little bit slow going when it's flurries and icy roads.
For sure. I get that. So before we get into what's so great about the Rise, living in the Rise development, tell me why you got into real estate to begin with.
So I got into real estate like a lot of people by chance. I was working in a different industry completely that wasn't a sales position, but my realtor that helped me out in Calgary had said, you have a lot of qualities that I think would be really good in real estate. And so when I moved out here, then I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to get into it. And it's turned out that it's been good.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Whoever that realtor is, you should thank them and I should thank them because you've been a great addition to our group. So way to go for whoever that was. So let's talk about the Rise. Now, what do you like best? I mean, you looked at a lot of houses and you ended up buying at the Rise. So tell me why you ended up buying at the Rise.
Yeah, so of course, being a realtor, we see a lot of houses. And so I never really had a community that I was stuck on. We looked all across the Vernon area. And funnily enough, I had shown the house that we ended up buying to quite a few people, and it never dawned on me because it is more of a retirement community. Now, that's not to say that you don't find people with young kids, but for the most part, it is a different demographic. So when we came up here, I just loved it's very arid, kind of more desert style. And you're either going to get one of two views, a beautiful lake view or a city view. As it turns out, we have a city view and we just love at night looking over the city.
Nice. Now you have a husband and two dogs, and all three of them benefit from living at the Rise. Kelly is a golfer, learning to golf. Probably he's more an intermediate golfer now, I suspect. I don't know. And the dogs benefit from getting great walks along the Grey Canal Trail, yes?
Yeah, so absolutely. We're about a 3-minute quick drive, or you could walk, but you have to remember it's uphill back to the house. So we go down to the Great Canal. It works out to about a 7-kilometer walk that I like to do round trip. And of course, because we get spring, summer, fall, some nice weather, it's really nice to use almost all seasons.
I didn't realize it was 7 kilometers. That's awesome. And then what about the golfing? Kelly must have some feedback on the golfing.
Yeah, I mean, he again just started this year. A lot of the people that live up in this area do have golf simulators in their house. So you, of course, can practice during the winter, and then during the summer, they love to go up there. From what I hear, it is a quite a difficult golf course, but just amazing views. They are working currently on a clubhouse there. So hopefully we'll see that in the next 2 years.
2 years still. Too bad, because that will be absolutely fantastic up there. And I can attest that I think it was the second round of golf ever played at the Rise. We were invited up to play 9 holes, and we were the second group out. And in 9 holes, I lost 12 balls. However, they have lightened it up.
I shouldn't admit this. I've never golfed there. I shouldn't admit that, but it just goes to show that I love the community, even though I don't even golf.
That's all right. You're too busy working, selling real estate. So what else do you love about being at the Rise?
It's a very close-knit community. As I mentioned, a lot of people have golf simulators, so everyone will go kind of house to house and partake in just things like that. Almost every weekend, someone is hosting, a football game or hockey or, different sporting events. So it's really close, and we literally just walk over to people's house and then walk home. So it's nice to not have to go back into town. It really is a great community in the sense that you are out of town, but you're only 7 minutes to downtown. So it's a nice drive into town as well.
Right. So the neighbors have golf simulators, parties, and pools. Maybe pool parties.
What else
I
do you
guess.
want? What else do you want?
What else could you ever want? Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're close to the beach.
Exactly. Yeah. So we do like to take the paddle boards down to the beach, which again is probably about a 5-minute drive. So we take the boards down, or kayaks, or, whatever kind of water activities they like to do. And we head out there in the summer.
Right. So you don't go to Kin Beach though. I think you go to one of the beach accesses. There's all sorts of options.
Exactly. There's quite a few little points of entry that are public beaches that a lot of people don't know about them. So you can go and park your car and go right in there. But yeah, you could definitely go to Kin Beach as well, or Paddle Wheel Park, really any of those beaches. And if you wanted to utilize those. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's also, as far as amenities go, when you're talking about the beaches and that sort of thing, there's also, you're not very far from, say, Davison Orchards. You're not very far from Planet B. You're pretty close to Marshall Field. Also, if you wanted to play pickleball or basketball or soccer, or take your dog to the dog park, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the reality is you're really within 10 minutes of wherever you want to be as far as amenities is concerned. So you don't have to go very far to be able to take part in a lot of those things that you just mentioned.
For sure. And then shopping, you're not far. Well, really, you're not far from downtown anyways, but you're also not far from, say, Bilo Foods, for example, or Tim Hortons, maybe more importantly.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you're probably looking at maybe 5 to 7 minutes, depending on who's driving.
Right. Schools. I would imagine kids go to Ellison and Clarence Fulton.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have kids, but yeah, if you did live in the area, you could definitely, those would be the schools that would be the closest.
Sure. School bus must come to your area. Yeah. You must get parked behind it sometimes.
Yeah, you know what? I've never been stuck behind it, but then again, might just be the timing. And I don't believe where we live, I don't believe there's actually any kids of that age up in our area in the upper Silver Sage. I don't think there's any kids that would be of school age. So I don't see them up here.
Gotcha. So the closest schools are really in Okanagan Landing, kind of across the valley from where you're at. Yeah. And airport, how far to get to the airport? I know it's very close to get to the Vernon airport, but nothing goes anywhere pretty much. So from your place to Kelowna?
You're almost, I think we've timed it at usually about 40 to 45 minutes, depending on the traffic and which way you go, whether you go the Commonage way, the back way, or just take the highway. But usually you can be at the front gate there by about 40 minutes.
Gotcha. Have you timed the difference?
Yeah, we have gone both ways. And I think it's probably maybe 5 minutes faster to go to the Commonage way, the back way there. But it just depends on how you like to drive. That's a little bit of a windier road. And of course, you're not on the main drag. So it just depends on what your drive style is and what you like.
Gotcha. So then also the Rise is going to be very close to the new Friend Winery, or I should say the Friend Vineyards. It's not a winery at this point, but pretty close to that. And I think probably some of the vineyard areas going down Bella Vista as well. So pretty close to you guys.
Yeah, so they do. So the Friend, you see a lot of their staff around working on all the working on all the vineyards. And then of course you have the orchard workers. As you go on the rail trail, you can see them because you do pass right by, just like you said, Davison Orchard. So you can see all the workers there, which is kind of neat in the summer. And then of course, as you mentioned, there is talk about the winery. So I think that'll be huge because of course we don't have anything like that in Vernon at this point. And so it'll be nice to add that for just another outing that we can do here.
All right. So what kind of houses do we get up at the Rise, Laura? I think there's a bit of an assortment. So give us an idea of what you find up there.
Yeah, so you'll see some of the more traditional properties or more of that Tuscan kind of feel. So those are some of the original homes. With those, you're going to see the duplex style. And then, of course, some single family homes. They are quite large. A lot of them have very minimal landscaping. So you don't tend to see really big yards, but you do see pools. But again, it's very low maintenance. And then as it's kind of come into the last 10 years, you are starting to see more of a modern look on houses. Our house is quite modern. However, it is kind of a mix of that, again, traditional Tuscan feel with the terracotta colors all the way up into the more modern whites, creams, that type of thing. Your price range up here, they do have some new townhouses, the Ledge, which is coming up as well. Your price point is probably starting at about $850 now, maybe even $9, as they've sold out of those. And you're going anywhere up to $3 million, really, if you can find something that's for sale in that range. But that would probably be the price range.
A little bit of it's going to be above average house prices up at the Rise for sure, because you're adding in things like lake views, access to the golf course, and traditionally, like you had said, that Tuscan type of house style, and just generally the building scheme and the design guidelines, they're pretty stringent up there. So you can't just build, a box. So anything you don't like about living up there? Is there anything that you wish you could change?
I think probably the only thing for us would be, as again, when you see it, it is quite a windy road up here. I've never had issues driving. I've never had any issues like that, but really more if I wanted to walk my dogs from my house, it is a trek up a hill. So you do have to consider that. And a lot of the properties don't have big yards, as I mentioned. So really it would be nice to have a little bit more yard space, but then it's a pro-con thing. We also don't have to do a lot of yard maintenance. Up here, you do have a small fee for a community fee. So they come around and they take care of all the landscaping, irrigation, they blow out all the irrigation. So that is a benefit up here as well, as that is paid by the community. So pros and cons: if you want a big yard, probably not the right community for you. But if you want low maintenance, then it works out really well.
That's right. As of 2023, how much is that fee to have your landscaping and everything looked after?
So we pay $50
a month.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Yeah.
But that's great. That keeps that uniformity and the quality of the landscaping, and everything looks nice up there. The medians look nice. Everything always looks nice. And now that it's gotten I know that there's still room to build more up there, but all those lots that were developed have now been built on, and it's really come into its own as a community. It looks really nice up there for sure. And as you say, you get a little bit smaller lot. They're built for the view though. And of course, to have a view, you have to get up on the hill. So that it is that trade-off, isn't it? You have a little bit more of a drive to get up to your view.
Yeah. And I would definitely say everybody that comes to our house is always blown away. And we've been in lots of houses here now. The view really is the main feature of most of the houses up here.
Sure. So you're either looking for a lake view or you're going to get a valley view up there. Pretty much everybody has one or the other, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of those lake views are just spectacular.
Yeah. Right up the lake there. They're beautiful.
Looking at your valley view and into the city is also just absolutely breathtaking as well.
Yeah. And one thing that's really neat about this time of year is when the fog comes in, it almost completely covers the city. So it's almost like you're above the clouds. So it's really neat to take pictures and just kind of sit and look out on the deck at the view that's out there.
Nice. So Laura, let's talk a little bit about Vernon in general. Like, what do you like best about Vernon?
Yeah, as we've talked about already in this video here, so I'm from a small town and then of course went to the big city and then now have gone down to a smaller city. And without a doubt, I love the easy access to everything, whether I want to go skiing or to the lake or, for my husband, golf, anything like that. Everything is within a really close distance. And we do really get 4 full seasons. And that's just something that we didn't see in Alberta. So you really have a long fall, spring, summer time frame and not just a really long winter that goes directly into summer.
Perfect. So what are your favorite activities? I know that you love walking the dogs. Kelly loves to golf. You like to paddleboard. What other types of things do you like to do around Vernon and Coldstream?
Yeah, I think you nailed them on the head right there. I mean, we do a lot of walking on the Great Canal, but then also on the rail trail. We love getting out onto the lake. We do lots of different hikes. We do like to go and venture out of Vernon and do some of the wineries in the area. So again, everything's in close proximity to really do a variety of different things.
Yeah. And you were in the wine business previously, so you know the good wineries, and I'm sure you love to visit those and explore the new wineries.
It's like everything else. If it tastes good to you, then it's good wine.
Right. Well, just wait till you have one right next door. A winery right next door. Oh my goodness. Oh, perfect. So tell me one more thing that I have to know. What's your favorite restaurant in Vernon?
Right now I'm really, really loving Okim. I really love that we have a variety of different restaurants here, or either Okim and get some bento box, that type of thing, or alternatively, even the ramen Roku. I believe it's called Roku Noodle House.
Right. Nice. So a little bit of an international Asian flair. You're into the Asian flair right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of things to eat here, but right now, that's where I'm going right now.
Awesome. That's great. Well, thank you, Laura. I really appreciate you sharing with us everything you know about the Rise.
Awesome. Thank you.